Appreciate it. Hey everyone, hopefully we all enjoyed the agency roundtables, lots of education to be had. But just as a bit of an introduction on me, my name is Hugh and I am the head of APAC for Swim. Just keeping this a little bit interactive, for those in the audience, a quick show of hands who has heard of Swim before. Amazing news. The second question I have for you, who has actually been able to introduce Swim as a potential billable service around that shopper intent layer? Good. Great. That is the aim for today, to actually be able to introduce it, but I think that is the reason why I stand on stage here today. Look, I've been in the e-commerce space for a number of years, initially in the financing side before being over at Gorgeous for a number of years. And the reason why I did move over was specifically to focus around what I believe will be that next phase in evolution as we go from an acquisition era, specifically to understanding and tailoring each customer journey to be personalized towards what that layer looks like. So I wanted to introduce you to what Swim is as a total platform. A number of people know Swim as a wishlist platform. We've existed for around 10 years, 10, 12 years now, and that functionality has branched out to a vast range of merchants within that Shopify ecosystem. And really what we've discovered within that element, and from an agency perspective, you will have seen this in a number of different levels. The acquisition play that a number of people 4 or 5 years ago really focused on has started to become, one, a lot more expensive, but significantly harder to be able to actually achieve this. 97% of that traffic online, you will hear from both myself and Wonderkind on this as well, is still anonymous. As an agency, how can you start to isolate what that identity is, but also what that underlying intent of each customer is as well? And obviously, with us, we're now living in a zero-party or lack of cookies globally as well. How are we going to be able to interpret this in a way that you as an agency can just start to deliver healthy data in a framework that actually works for your customers? This is really what we've focused on and what we've tailored ourselves down to. Currently, we work with around 50,000 merchants within that Shopify space. And what we act as is a really, really strong methodology to aggregate and isolate each intent action shown by a customer so that you as a brand can start to understand, but you as an agency can start to push this into the different billable services that you have active for your clients. Within that, there are a number of different elements of Swim, and I'm not going to go through these today. What the framework is, the underlying architecture, sits as the ability to capture that intent, connect it to the right services. Mac obviously spoke a lot around what that journey orchestration looks like and how you're leveraging AI within that element. What we're able to do across that session, across those different channels, whether it be online, offline, as well as marketing too, and how you orchestrate this to make sure that you're generating revenue that your clients were previously unable to access. Now, shopper intent, we view this as that operating layer that exists within e-commerce. Obviously, there's a huge amount of data that flows. We are focused on trying to centralize and consolidate that all into the one layer, both whether it be hosted within a live environment of AI or actually within elements like Klaviyo and a whole host of other platforms that you as the agency then push back directly to your customers. The ability to read every signal is, of course, fundamental to that methodology. That allows you to aggregate the anonymous traffic that you're experiencing, as well as that identified that, of course, a lot of you as agencies focus on, but actually stitch those fragmented shopper journeys together. I think that's a really huge element where it becomes a really sole focus for agencies, particularly within that marketing framework, to focus on those bottom of funnel challenges, really isolate and increase the performance there. But to be able to take a step back and actually connect those fragmented journeys in a way that you were previously unable to do, to then convert that into that frequency and automation layer that you have. The reason why I'm standing in front of you is obviously it's all well and good to push this out to a brand. We have multiple actions that include the likes of wishlist, save for later, back in stock alerts, and we see some pretty good performance coming out of Swim from the get-go. But from an agency perspective, there are so many elements that you can start to introduce and scale out into a framework that results in measurable success for your clients. And from us as a subscription app based within that Shopify ecosystem, you're interpolating this into that larger billable service. As you can see, and this was a survey that I put together with around 200 customers here in APAC, this was the previous result. and that does work, good news, or half of it does. The agency-led implementation, for those that have actually started to frame this and produce this as a service, the performance almost doubles. It's fantastic to see what's able to be achieved when you truly understand the different journey that each customer is taking online, as well as pushing this out to cross-marketing and through the POS integration that we have as well. With Shopify POS, there's a huge amount of omni-channel clienteling possibilities that you as the agency are then able to take forward and deliver in a way that most customers have no idea that's even possible as well. In terms of how agencies work with us, obviously we exist as an intent layer, so there's so many different elements as to how we work that from a data perspective, you're able to start pushing and introducing into that. For web dev and tech, obviously this exists as, through the open APIs that we have, through the customization possible, different ways that you can engage a shopper throughout that entire journey. Strategy and consulting, obviously when you're talking about understanding your customers to a more personal level, this is a huge aspect that you're going to want to explore. CRM, loyalty, full service, and digital, you've got the multiple use cases that exist. Obviously, we exist as a data layer. Yes, there are elements to us like that wish list that go and drive revenue directly, but a lot of people are not leveraging Swim from the aspect that agencies can take, where there's a huge amount of data that you're then able to push out into the app ecosystem that you've enrolled for your clients as well. Paid media, as well as email and SMS, obviously huge focuses are provided towards not just a spray and pray method. A lot of people here are knowing how to target their customers more effectively, and whether it be via the Pixel integration that we hold to better push out meta ads, alongside that email and SMS capabilities with all major ESPs, I really want to make sure that you leave here with an understanding that the capabilities of Swim sit within the framework of enriching the data that you are able to capture as that agency. In terms of who we work with, we have over those 50,000 merchants globally, but here in APAC, we have over 2,000 active customers. I only joined 3 months ago as the first person on the ground. With how much I've done, I'm very excited to start building out a team. But with that framework, from an agency perspective, there's a huge amount that I would like to do for you as well. When it comes to the performance, as you saw from those previous slides, Swim sits as pretty deep in the tech stack quite often, not one that has really been leveraged to the extent of what's capable. And we have some great agencies that I've worked personally with already within this first quarter to ensure that the uplift in performance actually delivers to the standard that your clients expect. And within the framework of all of the conversations we've had today, you want that infrastructure layer to be able to be delivered in a way that can, one, be comprehended by the brand, but you as an agency to start to build robust systems and an actual service around it too. So this is really what we have been focusing on within the last quarter as well. And rather than it just existing as Swim being an opportunistic app to deliver performance, we actually wanted to make sure that rather than you going and looking at the opportunity of Swim as a pure play app, we wanted to be able to bring this and provide this directly to the environments that you work within. This is the idea that through an MCP layer that we have now introduced, the billables of Swim, the technical support that you need, everything from the intelligence that we can take from the benchmarking of over the billion event actions that we have, this is now all available for you as an agency to be able to leverage to deliver those results for your clients and actually the performance that you expect. So whether it be through specific elements such as the intent infrastructure, such as the instance of each client and the personalization that's required, you can start to build all of these robust systems, not looking and pushing out directly from Swim, but actually that one layer that you already have set up as an agency. We've heard from a number of the talks today, the incredible workflows that people have put into place with those AI capabilities. We're now being able to push that and deliver it in a way that anything that you are researching, anything that you are trying to understand, the positioning of Swim as an app on a site now is able to deliver the data to you from an agency perspective as well. This is the reason why I think this is a really good movement. From an MCP layer, obviously Klaviyo's introduced a pretty fantastic MCP opportunity. From our perspective, we can wrap Beacon into those dashboards, into those client portals. But significantly, one thing I did want to highlight today was we've heard from a number of different people how many times different teams are operating upon different data, different technologies that they're using. And in order to create that unified workflow as an agency within itself, we want to be able to introduce that same data across every channel that you as an agency are leveraging. And that really allows you to start to structure a retainer lane that's going to be able to benefit both you as an agency and, of course, the performance from your clients. This is definitely running out of battery. So we genuinely believe that this layer of intent outside of acquisition is a really good angle to start to explore, and I'm really excited to have a couple of conversations as we go on forward around how we can start to layer this into your own work and services that you provide. We want to incorporate that intent into the statement of work. Conversations I even had at our roundtable, the idea of shopper intent is very much still treated as a bit of a buzz phrase. Instead of that, actually being able to incorporate an understanding of what your customers are looking at and how you tailor each journey towards the angles that they're taking and the workflows that they're following, you can start to make this billable, including it within different elements, whether it be marketing, whether it be on the dev side, whether it be within that general CRM and strategy. All of these different elements through the enrichment of this data with Swim is now going to provide you with the opportunity to start to make that statement. And this is a brand new program. This is the reason why I think it would be great to have a conversation, because all of this is going to be tailored and you set the acceleration that exists from this. So that's just a quick insight and a partner bite from me on what is possible with Swim. But in terms of that intent layer, I'd really encourage you all to take a step back and start to consider, when it comes to the personalization of each journey, how you're delivering this to your clients. Thank you.